the shake. It's okay? Let's do the second ending. Second ending. Do do da ba ba ba. 1, 2, 3, ah. Okay. Again. Just second ending and enjoy the playing together. Ba do da ba ba ba. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have no special suggestions for Taiwanese students. I have suggestions for music students all over. Music is just a communication. If you play only by yourself, so you don't get to the people who want to listen to you. You have to talk with your instrument or with your voice. In all these sounds, you have to try to put all the emotion and all the intellectual things and going together. And of course, you have to practice and do all these things, but never forget what's about.
Guten Tag, how are you?
Ni hao.
Ni hao. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Ruf. You are as a conductor, producer, music director, and it's such a great honor to have you in my program to introduce your philosophy of art.
Very happy to be here. Thank you.
And Mr. Ruf, like you've been teaching Taiwan for a while, right? When was the first year that you arrived in Taiwan?
First time was just exactly 4 years ago. Into October 2015 was the first time I ever arrived in Asia and in Taiwan to prepare the concerts for December with my orchestra, German Pops Orchestra, with Sudalu. So we arrived in December with 60 musicians from Germany.
60. Wow, that's a big project. Wow.
It was one of the biggest projects I ever did in my musical life. Yes.
Well, but also like for you, you know, in many kind of music, like you know, jazz music, you know, pop music, you know, classical music, you know, every kinds of music. When you first time to hear the music of Soda Green, like what inspired you or like what makes you feel like the Asian pop music?
So I'm very curious and I listen to a lot of music so that I get to know more and get to know more about other cultures. So I was curious about the music of Soda Green and then I listened to different times and the music of the Winter album, Winter Endless album we worked together, it's really different from the album before. It has a touch of European Western classical orchestral music. And for me, a real surprising moment was when somebody translated the lyrics to me. The lyrics, they are really deep and about very important issues about life.
Right.
On this album. Sometimes in life happen some crazy things, special things, and one magic thing happened to me in 2014 when I got a telephone call from Taiwan. So this was the beginning of the collaboration with Soda Green and his manager and producer, Mr. Will Lin. So he's a man with really great visions. He not only brought the whole Soda Green team to Berlin to produce and record the Winter Endless album, he also invited my whole orchestra, German Pops Orchestra, to go to Taiwan.
制作过程当中，我们是先去跟他一起工作管弦乐团的部分，从录音的前期准备，然后包括乐谱的一些修改，因为我写了很多乐谱嘛，但是他帮我改成真正可以让管弦乐团使用的一个格式。从前期一直到录音的阶段，然后到之后发行，他都完全的参与，所以我们觉得非常荣幸。
而且大部分都会以为指挥应该是一个艺术家，但他厉害的事情就是我们所有在德国的所有事情，他都有办法 organize。所以，譬如说，我们又会看到他指挥完了之后，我们在练习的时候，他就在旁边打电脑，然后就整理所有的文件，然后或者是安排所有的行程。没人能离开，
没人能离开。当然，在音乐上面，他也帮忙我们也很多，就是他帮我就是让整个乐团的声音听起来就是非常的像是我们想象的样子吧，因为我们在东维尔里面就是希望有一个到欧洲，然后到柏林去做可能是现场的演出，然后也可能是跟乐团的演出的这个感觉。那 Ben 呢在这方面帮我们完成了这个梦想。
And so, how do you start to knowing the music? Like from when you were a child, like when did you start to starting touching and playing with the music?
Yes, I was a child, and I remember my first concert. So I was maybe 5 years old, and played in one orchestra with Melodica.
Yeah.
And I played there in my hometown. So this was the first thing I remember. And at one moment, I just decided I want to do more music, and I need more music, and studied other instruments, clarinet, saxophone, guitar, piano, and I think it's my life. So.
So you were starting from Melodica, and then do you start any other instrument? Have you ever tried like because Melodica and clarinet is such a big difference. But you are so talented. You can do like finger work. You can do also like with the clarinet. That's complete different skills, right?
It's different, but you need a fingering and you need the breath.
The breath.
The breath is the most important thing.
Right.
For in life anyway. But for music also, because
exactly.
You have to feel the phrase and just the breath of life you have to put in the music and in every movement of
Yeah. So I think, but how? Like, what's the differences between the breathing between the jazz music, classic music, and pop music?
I think in general, of course, there are some stylistic differences. In jazz, you would play da-dap, dap, dap, dap. In pop, you do bop, bop, bop. Or in classical, you whoa, whoa, something like this.
Right.
But because I'm working with different styles and I love it, and there is no style I could say I prefer this or I prefer this, because I think for me, everything all has to go together. And what's the same with all, it's that the music is communication. And it's a way to talk.
Right.
So through the music, even if I don't know Taiwanese or Mandarin or any language, but everybody could understand my notes, my music, my sound.
Right.
It's the sound of life.
So also like you as a, a performer as well and composer and also teacher, what would be the differences between those three different kinds of position?
So when I'm performing, just maybe play solo, that means that I'm really with myself. So, but when I conduct one orchestra, maybe 50 musicians, it's a way of coordinating the different things going on in the music. And actually, we try to perform the idea of the composer, of the compositions.
Right.
That's my job as conductor. So I have to find out what's the idea of the composer and how can it sound through the orchestra. But for myself as conductor, I have no sound.
But also as a conductor, it's very important because you are the line for all the musicians because they all have different brains. For example, they have 60 brains, but they need you to collecting the information to become one string.
Yeah.
And the vibration of the string.
It's same as you know, because you work as a solo dancer, but also with the whole group.
Right.
And these are different things, but maybe I don't know how it is for you. For me, is the balance of both is very important.
Exactly,
So
that's the most important thing.
If I do a lot with orchestra, I need some time by myself to express and don't discuss with other, just express myself. And if I do this I need also to talk with other again. So to find the right balance, this I think is for me very important. How is for you?
Well, totally true. I mean, to finding a balance, especially we have, like the violin and percussion, like even the way how you manage the position or the level where they are, or the level of the sound, is always about the balance. The balance could make the perfect sound.
I think it's very interesting here because in Taiwan there is one major jazz university and all the others university are mainly Western classical. And improvisation is new to teach at a university. I think also in your school and in my school, so even the classical students, they have to improvise.
They do. It's written in the schedule. They have to learn it.
Yeah.
So it's great to learn this, of course. I think it will take some more years to have the idea, oh, we really can play whatever we want. We can play free. We invent new things.
I think, I don't know how it's at your school, but for the Western classical musicians, improvisation is just something they belong
mysterious.
to jazz. But actually improvisation is something in all your life. It's an attitude or a way of life.
That's what I'm always teaching in master classes. It's one of the first things. What's about jazz and improvisation? Well, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's not a scale or any chord or any tune. This belongs to it, but above all, it's the way you approach things in your whole life.
I think the musician, they are with their instrument and with their music, and it's very hard for the partner to accept that there is, beside the love to one person, this deep love, long living, all life, long living love to the music.
You're right, because musicians need time for themselves. They need to be alone, just to be creative, to practice the instrument, to write music, and nobody can cut in. And of course, this is a problem for the surroundings, for the family, or for whoever.
It's also, if you play one concert, you give all the energy,
and the wife is calling, and don't forget to buy the butter and the bread and the milk. Yes, darling. It's midnight. I'll be back soon.
In Taiwan, you can buy at midnight.
Yes, that's
Well,
right.
So
maybe that's the reason why the Taiwanese musicians are more lucky.
Maybe.
I'm quite content. I rely on my music, on my life. I do not really like to get into a plane somehow, because I can't control it. I just get in, and most of the time it will come down without any problems. But if one time there are problems and I'm inside this plane, well, this is a kind of little fear somewhere in the background.
So in my musical life way, it changed. At the beginning, I was very nervous in the concerts.
That's interesting.
I believed I couldn't do anything wrong, and what happens if I do wrong. And by time, I recognized what you said before, that actually if you express and if you are with your music, it cannot be wrong.
Yeah,
but not for
this comes
musician.
from the classical music, because they have the compositions from the big composers, and the musicians were trained just to play them as good as possible.
But you practiced all the Coltrane scales and patterns. This is the similar to the classical music.
I learned the language, but I use it the way I can and I want.
Yeah.
I don't remember all the Coltrane licks. It's a kind of feeling inside, so I can play kind of like he did, but I change it because I cannot do it better. So
Of course.
that's me.
think was quite successful for you as a producer making the album with Soda Green. So for different generation who know in classical music could able to hear the pop music, and the pop music audience could able to hear the beautiful harmony of classical music. I think because most of the beautiful classical music, most of the composers they really create the music by heart. But because right now we're having phone, and all the information are going so fast, that's why sometimes I feel like in the new generation for now, they don't really understand about human, because they don't really understand about emotion. Sometimes they don't even know how to explain how they feel, because they spend too much time on the devices.
I mean, it's actually very difficult for the young generation.
Exactly.
To find a way to separate from the digital life. So everybody is on the device. I think we have to find, it's not only the young generation, it's the whole society. We have to find some way. I think everybody of us, even the parents or the grandparents, have the responsibility to take care about the children, that they get what you said before, that they get the possibility to play, really play, not digital, non-digital things, go out,
Exactly.
go on the streets or wherever, and get dirty and play and wash again, whatever, and do something with your body.
Yeah, I remember I saw one of the very interesting picture is like, I mean, in our generation, the picture is a mom was dragging a kid, come back home and eat your dinner. But now it's different. Right now, the mom is pushing the kids, go back, go out and play, go out. Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's a big different generation, but very, very like, that's very true.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So, is there any chance for me to play with your music?
I think so, yes. It would
Yes!
be a great honor for me if you...
I've been looking for
join me.
today for a long time. Yeah. So, what's the music that you're going to play with me?
So this is the idea of, I call this composition creek, or C-R-E-E-K, or it's a small river. The idea is just like a spring or some drops coming, starting, and then it gets bigger and bigger. It gets one river, and just it flows. So the music I want to play is just flowing more and more. And the idea about the pulse of the time, or we talked also about breath and time, and how you get a feeling about time and how is it changing.
Right.
With this music, it's always the same time, the same pulse, the heartbeat, but you feel different. You feel different if there are only a few notes or if there are a lot of notes. It always stays in the same beat, I would say, but you have a different feeling about.
Right. Well, is there any chance or is there any moment that you want to try to make the harmony with the Taiwanese Aboriginal or Taiwanese culture?
I think what I can, I'm now coming to Taiwan maybe for 4 years. I'm always fascinated by the traditional music. So I had a chance when I stayed here last year and the year before with my groups from my University of Music in Lübeck in Germany. We visited TNUA, the Taipei National University of the Arts, because we started one cooperation with the two schools. And so there they have one traditional music department. And we got a chance to listen to one class, and they presented the instruments, and it's very fascinating. But I think in jazz or in world music or ethno, even classical music, so you can find some way to connect more with the traditional instruments.
Right.
I like very much to come here to this place, to the Taipei National University of the Arts. So it's now 2 years ago that we started one sister school program with my university in Lübeck in North Germany. It's close to Hamburg, and Taipei and the TNUA. So, and we had wonderful exchanges also. So 2 years ago I came with my big band from my school, and one brass group from this school visited us in Lübeck, and I think it's a very good collaboration starting.
我跟 Roof 大概是在3年前认识的。那我最开始知道是因为他跟苏打绿有一起工作，那也知道说苏打绿慢慢开始有用整个交响乐团这样的编制来做专辑的录制的时候，我就知道其实 Roof 就是非常重要的角色之一。大家可以知道，吕北克音乐院其实它就是一个以古典音乐著名的音乐院，但在这个音乐院里头，其实竟然有爵士音乐的主修，而这里头最大的功臣呢，其实就是 Roof。那可能大家会觉得说，古典音乐跟爵士音乐这两个东西是互相冲突的，但是在我的学习过程中，跟 Roof 工作的这样子的情境之下，证明了其实古典音乐跟爵士音乐基本上是一体的两面，两件事情互相相辅相成。
And we started one program in my school 15 years ago when I arrived to my school to open for jazz music and popular music and contemporary music, because now the society is changing. Even the people who grow up with classical music, they also grow up with popular music. And so if you want to get in touch with the audience and with the people, so for everybody, you need to understand the language of the musical language of the people who are listening to you.
Hey! 从接触古典乐以来，就是可能对其他方面的风格没有那么熟悉。那陆甫老师对这方面很擅长。
1, 2, 3, 4。
我在他身上学到说，其实古典乐就是比较严谨，那爵士相较来讲，就是要勇于去尝试。就是他一开始就叫我们就是尽量去试，那不要怕犯错。像他今天有带来一首就是叫电子音乐的曲子，那个就是凭同学们的想法，就是完全是一个即兴的概念。那也有一个音乐家萨克斯风在前面，就是自由的即兴。那我觉得就是大家没有按照谱，凭自己想法，这样大家一起创造出一个音乐。我觉得这是一个 蛮特别，然后蛮厉害的曲子。
Of course, the classical music, they are used to play music from the paper. And it's very fixed. And if you put off the paper, so what should they do? So I think it's important that every musician, not if classical or jazz or world music, doesn't matter what, we just get used to improvise and play free. I'm convinced and I'm sure if you are able to improvise and if you are able to express your own feeling and emotion through your instrument without any music, you are not fixed on do this and this line, this and this point, so then you will play the composed music, the classical music, in a different way. Yeah. Bravo.
You have a very strong training of classical music, but also a very, very good training like in jazz music. And how do you find the balance in between, and what's the differences between the American jazz and European jazz?
I think, of course, all the Europeans, we had to study the American way of jazz because jazz is American music. It was born there, and the main musicians, so they are Miles Davis and Benny Goodman and Louis Armstrong and all these great musicians. So that's so we all have to study. Also the Taiwanese musician, if they want to know about jazz, they have to. Everybody has to study the American jazz because this is the
root of jazz.
The roots of jazz. But in the next step, I think you have to ask, how can you connect this to your own tradition and to your own way and to your own culture?
Right.
And of course, Taiwanese way of jazz would be different from German way of jazz or European way of jazz. And so I did some different projects with influenced by European folk music,
Oh,
which is
wow,
our
that's
traditional music,
Cool.
and also connected, of course, of the Western classical European style. So I think the European jazz is different from American jazz just because of different traditions, and
Right.
different roots.
Or different lifestyle.
So, and the lifestyle. And I mean, every human being has to look around what's going on, what happens,
Right.
but has to find his own style and his own way of living. Because every human being is unique.
Right, right.
And that's the same with the music and with the culture. And,
Cool. Today is such a great honor to have Mr. Roof to be our special guest for How Are You? So looking forward for your new project and however, wherever you are, really looking forward for your new creation to touch people's heart again and remind us how to breathe. Thank you so much. Dankeschön.
JJ,
谢谢，谢谢。
Great
Wish you a
honor
lovely day.
to be here. Thank you very much.
Danke.